Hi, I'm happy to be here with Hampus from Furberg Snowboards, and
Nice to be
he's
here.
going to present his new splitboard. And for what kind of riding is this splitboard best? For like high alpine, free ride or freestyle? Just please explain a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So you might know our old model, the Freeride
Yeah.
Split, which is really like a big mountain board.
Yeah.
Perfect for high alpine conditions and powder as well.
Yeah.
This one is a little bit more playful version, has a shorter side cut radius, so it's a bit more reactive, let's say on hard pack. If you're not riding very steep runs, it's really nice for carving. So a bit more playful and also beginner friendly. It's not like necessarily a pure beginner's board, not at all, but it's definitely a good alternative if you want to try a board with a bit longer side cut radius, something about 10, 11 meters. Don't want to go all the way up to the 14 meters of the Freeride Split, then I think this is a perfect board for you. You still get to get a feel of the advantages of a longer radius, but not as extreme as on the Freeride Split.
Okay, good. And do you want to explain a little bit about the features you have on this board?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, we have our own floorboard technology. It's a tongue and groove fitting. So here you can see it's an extra metal insert on one side of the board. On the other side, there's a channel. And when you mount the board halves together, just like a regular split board, but the stiffness is increased. It rides much more like a solid snowboard, like a regular snowboard.
Yeah.
Really makes a big difference, especially if you ride on like bad snow conditions, hard pack. You can really carve the board as a normal snowboard.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Then some other small features.
And if I'm skeptic, what about
sure.
the snow? When the snow comes in here,
Yeah,
how do you deal
that
with it?
can happen. 1 second. So have a scraper tool that you can
okay.
mount to your pole
Yeah.
or to your ice axe.
Okay.
I personally have like one on my pole and one on my ice axe.
Yeah.
It can be pretty handy to have it on the ice axe as well if you're climbing something.
Okay. Yeah, I understand.
But so with this one, you have two different sides. You can clean both. Just push like this and you get rid of the snow.
Okay.
Same exact thing for the other board half, but the other part of
Yeah,
the scraper.
I see. Good. And if I'm thinking about the market grew pretty much,
Yeah.
and why should I take a Furberg split board instead of a different brand?
One of our biggest sale points has always been that we make boards with a bit longer radius, and that has a couple of advantages. First of all, in touring, it's nice to have a longer radius. You don't have to bend the board when on edge so hard before you get the edge under the binding in contact with the snow. So it makes traversing quite a bit easier. Then it also makes, in ride mode, it's pretty much the same. You don't have to bend the board so hard before you get the edge in between the bindings. So with this, you get a bit more pressure between the bindings, a little bit less in nose and tail, and that makes it really easy to make sliding turns without having the board hooking, especially if it's bad snow conditions, you're riding something a little bit steeper. You can easily like let the tail drift around without having it like catching too aggressively.
Yeah.
So it's a way of distributing the edge pressure along the whole contact length of the board.
Yeah, nice. And we have this sustainability debate. If you rank your board between 1, which is not sustainable, up to 10, where would you rank it and why?
That's really hard for me to say, to be honest. I mean, I could say that it's a 5, but how do you really measure it? Because it's very complex. It's not only like what kind of materials that goes into the board. You have to calculate things as how long it lasts.
Yeah, right.
A board that is made with super like eco-friendly materials but break too soon, that's not an eco-friendly board in the end.
No.
So to be honest, I would put it somewhere 3, 4. I'm not going to stand here and say that it's a 5 because I don't think, from what I've seen in the snowboard industry, there is no 5 really, in my opinion. There's still a lot to work on.
Yeah.
Recycling a board in general, that's a huge issue. There's not anyone who has really figured out a good way of doing that.
Right.
So I would totally leave the 5 and say that we're not there, and probably no one else that I know of is there.
Okay, good.
But we make fairly durable boards, so I would say that's something that speaks for eco-friendliness.
Right, and there I come to my next question. If I'm getting into splitboarding,
Yeah.
and I don't know so much, but I know that the snowboard, maybe after a few seasons, it's already soft and I have to change it.
Yeah.
How many seasons can I use a splitboard of Furberg?
Wow.
Like if I don't hit a stone or a rock or
Oh,
something.
if you don't hit a rock, I mean, you could have your board for years. If you're unlucky and hit a rock, you know, every
For
board
days
you
you can
can
have it.
you can be really unlucky, and that doesn't really matter what brand you're riding. That
Yeah,
just
right.
happens. But no, sure, like if you're lucky, you ride in, especially like in Norway, we see our boards last really long because they have a pretty thick, dense snowpack,
Yeah.
way less rocky. I've had team riders who had their boards for 3 seasons, and I mean, those are guys who are out riding
Yeah,
a lot of days and
Yeah.
pushing it pretty hard.
yeah,
Whereas in the Alps, you typically don't see the boards last as long as they do in Norway.
yeah, okay.
But the flex lasts really long.
What about service? I
Yeah.
mean, if there's some production issue or something, how do you deal with problems people might have when they purchase
All
a
right,
board?
then they can contact us straight away. Like either if you buy the board at the shop or if they buy it from our website, you can always contact us and we will help the customer out. I think that's traditionally it's always been that you have to contact the shop or the distributor. But in our case, like we don't sell that many boards if you compare to like Burton or any of those guys. Like we still have a very close relationship to a lot of customers. Even if they bought it through a shop, they can come to us straight away and we will help them out.
Okay, oh, sounds good. And what about the best option to buy your boards? Is it the
Yeah.
online shop? Is it a dealer? Or what would you recommend?
I would totally say it depends on what area you live in. Like if you live in a place where you have a shop, go there, talk to them. They're really nice guys. Like we work with a few selected shops that really know what they're doing. If you live in an area where you don't have a shop, you can always go to our website and order the board from there.
Yeah.
So I would say it depends on where you live. But
Would
it's
you-
nice to have both options.
Okay, good. Would you recommend to do some testing before?
Sure, like if you
Before
have the option.
purchase?
I mean, that's always nice. Doesn't matter what kind of product it is. Having the possibility to test it, it's always great. There are a lot of good test events like around in the Alps where we and a lot of other brands take part. So that's probably the best way to do it. Go to one of those events, try a lot of different boards and see what you like.
Yeah, okay. So thank you very much for all this information.
Yeah, thank you.